What's up, guys? Jared here. So, the new South Park episode, Post-COVID Part 2, is coming out in a couple of days, and so, it being the holiday season and us getting some extra South Park Christmas presents at the end of the year, I'm in a South Park mood, and I wanted to talk more about my favorite show that also functions as functional therapy for me. So I'm going to be doing a series of videos that is S-tier reviews. These are South Park episodes that I consider to be the cream of the crop, that are not only insightful, but incisive, hilarious, and just have very, very unique points of view. So today I'm going to be reviewing Eat, Pray, Queef. That's Season 13, Episode 4. Now, one of the things that makes this episode so brilliant, and really just an overall sweet spot of South Park content in general, is that man, they really hit a home run when they're able to hit that spot of saying something really smart in the most retarded way possible. To give you guys a little bit of a background, this episode is basically about how the town of South Park is horrified when all of a sudden a Terrence and Phillip special is interrupted and replaced by the Queef Sisters.
Canada Channel presents the Queef Sisters, Catherine and Katie Queef. What?
Which then brings a whole conversation to the town about how men think that farts are funny, but queefs are somehow not funny.
It was just 30 minutes of two women queefing on people. So farts are hysterical, but queefs are gross?
That queefs are somehow obscene, because that's where babies come from.
That isn't funny. Babies come from that.
Because babies come from that.
So the overall joke being that fart jokes are funny and queefs are unfunny is really put into focus, and actually one of the funniest moments of the episode is Butter's reaction to getting queefed on. And then it cuts to him being hospitalized and Randy reacting to a phone call that he gets from Butter's dad, like he's receiving a call that Butter's just got into his first fight, or something that is kind of socially recognized as like an unfortunate rite of passage that people have to go through, but it's something that is extremely relevant and extremely important because it's really something gross that men have to go through.
A girl at school, she queefed on one of Stan's friends today.
So?
Whereas being farted on, again, is pretty much the same thing. Basically, the episode escalates to the point where Randy is bringing the issue in front of a courtroom and begging them to make queefs illegal because they are obscene, while still, protecting the integrity of a good fart joke because fart jokes are funny. Now, there's a lot of funny and smart stuff going on in this episode. On the surface level, one of the things that's so great about this episode is how it reflects on a double standard of how men and women relate to their bodies, and the line between shame and comedy largely being socially constructed. So in a very clever way, South Park is reflecting on how there is this sanctity of the female body, and there is this very male perspective that dominates kind of the cultural discourse surrounding women's bodies, in that, they can't be obscene or they can't be gross.
What was that?
I had a little air trapped. Mom, gross.
And this is one of the great things about South Park, is that they do this kind of what I like to call trolling egalitarianism, in that South Park will empower women, in quotes, by humiliating them with the same disgusting edge that they level at men. So basically, women should be able to be just as gross and disgusting as men. And in a sense, this is like one of the closest things that South Park ever gets to progressivism, in that they will say, all right, well, if you want us to be truly egalitarian, we will defile the sanctity of the female body and bring it down to the level of men. And I think this is a really funny point, that if South Park is often criticized for being very male-oriented and for being, maybe even misogynistic in their comedy, their response to that is to be just as humiliating towards women, in that this is kind of a sister episode to a recent episode called Turd Burglars, where at the beginning of the episode, Kyle's mom says that, hey, there needs to be more equality in South Park and the women need to be treated similarly as the men. And then it immediately cuts to her having horrible diarrhea and throwing up violently.
The women of South Park should be treated the same as the men.
Of course, the message here being, again, that women, if you really want women to be treated the same as men, then they're going to be subjected to the same level of physical, grotesque humiliation and just complete violent, disgusting obscenities. Some of my favorite jokes of this episode are definitely when Randy's in the courtroom naming off the different kind of farts that men have have chronicled.
We have the squeaker. And there's the foghorn. We've got the Chinese firecracker.
You know, because men name their farts, and then one of the women defendants or maybe prosecutors says that, oh no, women also name their queefs.
We have the sneezing unicorn and the resuscitator.
And then obviously including, of course, the road warrior.
We can do the road warrior.
No, we go in. We kill. No more talk. We kill. Soon, my dog of war. But we have to do it my way.
I think that this episode is really just the best version of South Park egalitarianism. The ending of the episode is actually quite tragic, and it's actually quite heartfelt. The moment when Sharon bemoans that women are unable to have just this one win, that the men of South Park will always have their subjectivity subsume the female subjectivity and not even give their perspective recognition, is probably one of the more powerful moments in South Park, and it's made all the more powerful by the fact that at the end of the episode, Sharon basically bemoans that Randy won. Randy got the, I guess, South Park court to deem queefs illegal, basically making it so that women can't have just this one win, this one moment of fun at men's expense.
Oh my god! Oh my god, Stan! Stan, we did it!
No way, we did it!
All right, no more queefing!
Well, congratulations, guys. Good job. For getting your way again.
And so, of course, missing the point entirely because they're certainly not paragons of any competent notion of egalitarianism, Randy and everybody in town, all the men in town at least, sing a song empowering women to queef. Now, the funny thing about this is that women aren't looking to be empowered to queef. They are just looking to have fun at men's expense, just to not be considered gross because they don't want to have this sanctity leveled at them and their bodies, by men kind of supporting them in their, I guess, their righteousness to queef. They're kind of, not allowing the women to actually have fun at men's expense because the men are overly celebrating it. Also missing the point because it's very funny during the actual singing of the song, they're showing these images of women that are professionals. They're mechanics, they are medics, they are doctors, and it shows them queefing and shows how, it shows them in these very strong and independent dispositions. And again, this is not what queefs do. Queefs do not empower women. They make them just as dirty and human as men. There's a great scene where Sharon Marsh basically walks Stan and Randy through the logic of how a queef joke and a fart joke are essentially the same thing because it's just air escaping from a crevice that is only an inch away from each other. But they only laugh at the fart joke and they don't laugh at the queef joke.
Tell me exactly where the line is. How about this? I have a friend, Abby. She had a baby boy and it farted.
Yeah.
But she was actually still pregnant and it farted inside her.
Yeah.
Then the gas from the baby's fart shot out her vagina.
Come on, Stanley, let's go.
It makes them, they just want to have fun at the expense of men. And the fact that they can't do that the male perspective will always win over, and that female subjectivity will not be given any recognition, even though it's basically air coming out of orifices that are only 2 inches apart, is just really the dumbest way to convey a very smart message about egalitarianism. And again, I think that this is a home run for South Park when they're able to not only kind of make a truly unique egalitarian message about how, obscenities that are considered very male-oriented ought to be also granted to a female perspective, but also that if we're talking about true egalitarianism here, women should be able to be humiliated and have fun at the expense of men pretty much by orienting themselves to their bodies in the same way that men do. So another thing about S-tier South Park episodes is you got to have a classic Trey Parker song, and the queefing song at the end is, it's so stupid, it's almost brought me to tears. Again, just the profundity mixed with the absolute silliness, and then it cutting to Terrence and Philip marrying the Queef Sisters and this union of egalitarianism, of the equality of a fart and a queef being kind of canonized when the priest says, "I now pronounce you fart and queef," is just so dumb and so smart at the same time that it's profound. It's almost brought me to tears, for God's sakes. And anytime South Park is able to do that, it is a pure home run. So this episode to me is clearly S tier because it's funny. It has something smart and actually quite progressive for South Park to say about the relationship, not only between men and women and their sense of humor, but about women and men and their relationships to their bodies, and also just the way that we as a society expect women to orient themselves to their bodies. And it's just so freaking funny. And any time that you're able to espouse such a really humanitarian message with fart jokes versus queef jokes, that's something special that only really South Park can pull off. So anyway, hope you guys have enjoyed me reminiscing about one of my favorite episodes. If you guys enjoy this, I'm going to continue to do a series of reviews of S-tier South Park episodes. I want to remind you guys, please read my South Park spec script. The link is in the description. I got some amazing feedback from some of the community in the comments of my review of the post-COVID special part 1. So I want to thank everybody who took the time to read it. Some of the feedback was very, very constructive, and it is my dream to write for this show. Any way we can get this script closer into the hands of Matt and Trey would be a step closer to me realizing my dream, just to even have them aware of it. I will be reviewing the post-COVID special part 2, so that'll be coming up, as well as obviously the Matrix Resurrections release is around the corner, and so you can expect a review from me on that as well. So guys, as always, thanks for watching. Be sure to read my South Park spec, and as always, peace.